All right, so today we're diving deep into Studded Stilettos.
Okay.
They're an Australian synth pop band.
Right.
And they've been like all over the place recently. You know, everyone's talking about them. We're going to look at their music and really figure out what makes them tick. What is it about these guys?
And it's an interesting time for a synth pop band to, to like really make it. Could this be their big break? Because synth pop is kind of having a moment right now globally.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Australia has this knack for producing artists that break through internationally.
Yeah.
So the big question is, can Studded Stilettos follow in those footsteps? Are they going to be the next big thing?
Yeah, that's the question, right?
Yeah.
Can they actually do it? And it's interesting, too, because they chose the name Studded Stilettos. I mean, what do you think about that?
Bold choice. I mean, you really think about some of the influences they've listed here. We've got Depeche Mode. We've got Kylie Minogue, even like a little Blondie in there.
Yeah.
Does that name fit?
I think so. I mean, I don't know. I get like a sense of, rebellious glamour. Like a little edgy, a little dangerous. What do you think?
No, I totally agree. And I think like a band's name is so important. It's their first impression.
Yeah.
It should spark curiosity, set expectations. Studded Stilettos, it does all of that.
It really does. And speaking of sparking curiosity, their debut single is called Maxine Murder Queen.
Wow.
Which is a very intriguing title.
That's an amazing title.
What do you make of that?
Well, it makes me immediately want to know more. Like, who is Maxine?
Right.
And what's her story? This is storytelling, right?
Yeah.
It's such a powerful way for bands, for musicians to really connect with their listeners. You're not just listening to music. You want to know, like, what's the story? Who are these people? What are they singing about?
And it really works because, I don't know, have you heard the song?
I have.
Yeah, what do you think?
It's catchy.
It's catchy, right?
Really catchy.
Right.
It's energetic.
Yeah.
It definitely got that classic synth pop vibe.
Yeah.
But I feel like they've updated it.
Totally.
They've modernized it in a way that works really well.
Yeah, they're not just like, doing what's been done. They're like putting their own spit on it.
And it's interesting because the article mentions that they actually produce their own music, which is, it gives them a lot of creative control.
Yeah.
So you're hearing their vision directly, and that originality, I think, comes through.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's really interesting, too, that it seems to be working because the article mentions that, it's early on, but the song is already climbing the charts, not just in Australia, but in the U.S., too.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
That's huge for a band that is just coming onto the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. That suggests a much broader appeal.
Right.
It's not just a niche audience, People all over the world are resonating with this.
Yeah.
To be getting that kind of international attention so early on,
yeah,
they're definitely doing something right.
Yeah. And to keep that going, they're about to go on a huge tour across Australia.
Oh,
they're going everywhere.
That's amazing.
Which makes sense because they're Australian or starting in Australia.
But that's key, right? For any band, but especially an emerging band, to build that fan base, get out there, play those live shows.
Absolutely.
It brings the music to life. And I think what will be interesting is to see, because we've only heard the recordings.
Right.
So it's really interesting to see how that translates to the stage. Do they have that same energy?
Yeah.
Can they command a stage presence? We'll see.
So it sounds like a very exciting time for this band.
It really is.
Studded Stilettos. And I'll be very interested to see kind of where they go next with it all. What do you think?
Well, it's interesting because they have a lot of the right ingredients. They've got a unique sound. They've got this captivating image. They're starting to build a global fan base. But, can they sustain this? It's still so early.
It's the question, isn't it?
It really is. It's the question for any band that breaks out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, that's great. You've got the spotlight for a minute.
Yeah.
But how do you keep it? What are you going to do next?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I guess time will tell on that one. But at the very least, they've really earned their moment.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see, what stories do they choose to tell? Because music is storytelling.
Yeah.
And I think they've already hinted at, some really interesting narratives. So it'll be fascinating to see how those evolve.
So there you have it. Studded Stilettos. The need to know.
Absolutely. Keep your eyes on this band.
And your ears.
Yeah.
Because who knows? Maybe they will be the next big thing.